And good evening, welcome to Coach's Corner, our final Coach's Corner, the 2022-2023 school year. School is out and ready for the summer. We're wrapping things up, and we will be talking baseball, track, and golf here this evening, and we'll throw in some tennis and softball here towards the end as well. Let's start off with track. The Highlander track team, 20 athletes competed at the State Track and Field Championships in Bismarck this past last week. Coach Trevor Backler joining us. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well.
Can you breathe well?
A little bit, yeah. You know, just finishing up a few odds and ends from the season, but things are going pretty good. You know, it's summertime now.
Now it's summertime.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the track meet? Looked like beautiful weather for 3 days, and we're able to. And the athletes had a great week.
Yeah, you know, going in there, we knew that it was going to be hot, you know, and so the kids really prepared themselves, and we were, you know, trying to, you know, the hydration, talking to them all about those things, and so we went into that meet, you know, with some high expectations, some not, you know what I mean? Just get out there and perform, right? And then you let it all rest where it is, and so, but the kids got out there and they did very well. You know, we had a lot of kids placing, and so that's really nice anytime you take kids to state and they're on the podium, right?
Now, I know you talked about it last week. One individual would only do 4 events, so you had a lot of wiggle room because you had a lot of athletes that had 6 under their name, but they could do different ones. So that helped you with some depth.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to don't have that option to move kids around and say that they don't want to do certain events, but you know, you look at it, you kind of see where they're ranked, where their other events are that they want to do, so there's not too much pressure on them. You know, trying to do a 4 and a 1600 that's back-to-back, that's pretty tough. And so, yeah, being able to move those kids around, it was nice. And we didn't get the 4x2 relay success that we were really hoping for, but hey, there's next year, right?
There is next year.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Regenberg had a great meet, took 2nd and 6th in her 2 individual events, and reset the school record again.
Yeah, you know, she had a phenomenal meet. She did well in both that, and then in the 800 as well. Then the girls 4x8. You know, it's just like she had you know, one of those very successful times. So it was nice to see her get that after all the hard work that she had done. Yeah, we started out on Friday with the long jumpers, and you know, they jumped okay, but didn't make it into the finals. But then then we had some good success there, and then came back Saturday morning with Aiden in the high jump, and man, once he hit that 6.2 mark right away, then we knew that he was in the placing. It's just where would he sit, you know, compared to everybody else. So that started the day, and then it just started rolling. So it was really nice.
I finished 3rd at that
overall.
6.2.
Yeah, he did. He made that on his first try, so that's what put him in there. You know, improvement from last year, and he's there. I'm hoping that he continues when he goes to BCSU. So I have a little discussion to do yet.
I think he is, but what he's told me, he's gonna look at that because he'll probably be working with the same dude that he worked with here in the high school, maybe when he gets to that college level. Also on the girls' side, Greta Goben, she was I want to say 7th in the 1600 in the 800.
Yep.
And then she also, and then it was 6th and 7th. Her and Regenberg were 6th and 7th.
6th and 7th, yes, overall.
In the 1600.
In the 800.
And that was in the 800. And Bryn Leak was 11th.
Yeah, she ran well. You know, she ran the previous heat, and she went out there and competed. She's just I don't know. The girl's got a tank on her. She just goes. You know, she doesn't know how to conserve, and she ran very well. For a 7th grader, her stepping up, you know, and competing at state like that. I asked them if they're nervous. They don't really say anything, but I don't know, you know. But she didn't show it.
You couldn't tell by the way they ran.
Absolutely.
And one nice thing about this team too, Trevor, is with Isaiah Schulteis in the javelin. Here's another one, 170 in the javelin throw, which was a career best for him. After I think he qualified a 155, then a 168, and then he goes 170 at state.
That was amazing. He did it on his 3rd throw. You know, and I asked him too, like, why'd you wait so long? And then he made himself real nervous. Got into the finals, which was nice, but you know, he's a kid as a senior comes out, and he's golfing as well too. So splitting that time, it took him a little bit, you know, to get to where he was at. But yeah, for him to place at state is amazing. Would have been nice to have him as a freshman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you look at Aiden and Isaiah, they're the only 2 seniors. that went to state, if memory serves, on the boys' side
On
for
the
sure.
boys' side.
Dylan Hunt was
Yep.
also there in the javelin.
Yep.
On the girls' side, Karina Olson, it was the lone senior, and she,
Yep.
had a bad break in the finals and the hurdles.
Yeah, she went out, ran really well on on Friday, competing in the 100 and then the 100 hurdles, and then had a nice 100 final. Did really well there. She was flying, and then in the hurdles, yeah, just that one little mistake. Those hurdles, the same thing that it got, Jared Egremont a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and so. It happens to many kids, unfortunately, but she was right up there, so it proved that she belongs, right, with those kids, and it would have been nice to see her finish that race, but she'll, again, get to do it again next year, and I know her coach is excited to see her run.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the 100 meters, in the preliminary, set a career best of 12.43, and then in the finals, 12.47.
She's, yeah, the consistency is what's really nice, and her being healthy, I discussed that before, without doing some of the other gymnastics and other things. I think that's really helped her out this season. And she's got to drive some motivation, now that she wants to do it in college as well. So
You look at overall, and you look at some of those younger athletes that got a chance to go and participate in the relay. Caden Spetch, along with Tessa Olson, Chesney Thompson, that went along to help you out in the relays.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
the experience these athletes get.
yeah, it was nice to be able to bring a lot of kids along and participate because of that, right? They get to see what it's like, they get to experience it, and for us to look at our team-wise and say, hey, we have a bulk of these kids coming back again, which is really nice, and being able to contribute to the team, and hopefully we get a few more next year and just keep building that. So
It looks like the field events is what you're trying to build on a little bit.
yeah, it would be nice. That's it's been a little while since we've had somebody place in the field events.
Yeah.
So it was really nice, yes. And Dylan's right there as
Yeah.
well, and so he'll probably pick up where Isaiah's left off. He's been improving steadily throughout the year as well. So, now we just need to get a few more kids out there, and hopefully we can get some of those bigger boys out there, those linemen throwing some shots.
Get them out there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final question, as of course when the season's done, and I'm not going to make a name them all, but a lot of seniors on this roster that wrapped up their Highlander careers.
Yeah, it's always I don't know, kind of a sad, you know what I mean?
Bittersweet.
It is bittersweet. Having to see them go, it's nice to see them move on, right, and go on to other things, but at the same time, it's sad because a lot of these kids have been around since 7th grade, that we've had competing, and it takes a big bulk. Yeah, 13 kids, gone, that's a big chunk, and we have a small group of seniors. The rest of the team was made up of freshmen and sophomores this year, which is really nice. And so, yeah, I wish them all luck, and we'll see what happens in the
Some of
future.
them will get to see at BCSU next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them compete, and like you said, we still got the same coach, and so we will have those times where we'll be able to, practice a little bit together and see each other as well. So it's always nice to see those kids come back.
We're in the maroon and the cardinal and white as well
Yeah,
as the blue and white.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Coach, appreciate it again. Congratulations on a successful season, and
Thank you.
we'll talk again next year.
Absolutely.
That's Coach Trevor Bacalard joining us here on Coach's Corner. We'll be back with more of our Coach's Corner from the HEC here on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here in Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network, our final Coach's Corner of the 2022-2023 season. Again, wrapping up some of the spring sports, just got done with track and field. Now Coach Soderholm joining us and getting ready for Legion practice. They were hitting as I left Charlie Brown Field, so they're in the Babe Ruth game going on right now. But Coach, it's too bad we're talking about the end of the season, didn't get a chance at the EDC, but let's just look at some positives during this 4-9 campaign.
Yeah, we had some young guys step up, play pretty well for us. Saw some improvement towards the end of the year, not as much as we needed to, but yeah, I think that's what we need to look at over anything else. Is the younger guys stepped up. We started 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and they all played pretty well. And then there's a few younger guys that got in there too that you like seeing, and saw some good things from JV as well.
You know, pitching-wise, we talk about pitching, and the pitching was there, but it couldn't, you know, pitching and fielding go together. Just sometimes it wasn't quite the fielding was off a little.
Yeah, it seemed like last spring we were in sync a lot. It seemed like everything kind of gelled together this spring. You know, we pitch well, boot the ball around, walk some guys. We make a lot of plays, but we're walking guys. That's kind of what it seemed like. The ones we won, honestly.
4-9 season, you got a win in the conference this year, but really just a couple of games away from sneaking into that EDC conference tournament, Coach. But when you look at this team and you talk about the younger guys now getting ready, you already think about next year and how important this Legion season is for these younger guys to get ABs here in the next 3 months.
Yeah, we even have a younger team in Legion this year, believe it or not. So that'll be huge. We only have, I think, 11 Legion age guys. Pull up a few Babe Ruthers, but so it's going to be a lot of youth this summer that'll hopefully lead into next spring that'll get these guys good, valuable reps.
A couple of, you had five seniors, I think, that graduated this year. You had them for the last couple of seasons, you know, up the middle. Catcher, Broden Muskie, third base, Gavin Gerhardt, Max Mayhews at short, Kai Pringley out in center field, Robert Fisher over at first base. But you look at your seniors and just what these guys have been a part of over the last 2-3 years and been a foundation for this ball club.
Yep, they've done a great job of buying into it. Started out their first year at Legion, you know, we went to state, went on a nice run. And then obviously last spring we had a good season. So they know how to play good baseball, and hopefully it's still ahead of them this summer.
I know a couple of them too, maybe even post-high school and into the college ranks want to play. But again, the younger guys are guys that you're really going to be counting on next year. They're going to be juniors. I mean, you're not going to be really junior or senior heavy. You're going to have a lot of sophomores and juniors.
Just a few seniors you can count on one hand for sure. So we're going to have a lot of young guys step up and play a lot more prominent roles in the future, you know, whether it's hitting in the middle of the order, being one of our best pitchers, but stuff like that's going to have to turn around quick if we want to make the progress we need to.
Any highlight this year for you that you say, hey, that was kind of a highlight of the season?
I'd say that Horace game was probably our best game. Max pitched really well. I don't think we made any errors.
Yeah.
We hit early. We obviously slowed down when we scored 3 runs, but we kind of put pressure on with our bunts, like played small ball, scored some runs early, and then we just held it down. Max did a great job that one too.
Well, looking forward to next year already, and I know you got practice here with the Royals and the Legion team, so appreciate you stopping by, Coach. And it was a fun year, yeah, come up short of your goal of getting to the EDC, but still, it's always fun to get a chance to go out there and watch some baseball.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Coach, appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. Coach Seth Soderholm joining us here from the Highliner baseball team, back with more of our Coach's Corner from the Hack on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner, here on the Highland Activity Network, our, again, final Coach's Corner of the season, and at the end of the program, we got a few people that we will thank, but now we're going to continue on. Talked with Matt Nielsen last night, of course, the head tennis coach, and said, "We doing Coach's Corner?" I said, "Yeah, tomorrow night." "Oh, yep, we're going to be in Grand Forks already," because, of course, the Highlander tennis team qualified as a team to go to the state tennis tournament, and 4 young ladies, the 2 doubles teams, also qualified for the state tournament. Breck Suffolcool and Abby Martinick, as you heard on our show last week, they were the doubles pair in the EDC tournament, EDC champions, so they're on their way as the #1 seed out of the East for the state tournament. And Georgia Zahn and Kaylee Nielsen, they were consolation champs, and so they are going as the #5 seed out of the East for the state tournament. And again, that gets started here this week. They're in Grand Forks already tonight, and it'll be this weekend with the singles and doubles and the team competition. And the Highliners again will be the #3 team out of the East after they lost the opening, they won their opening match 5-0 against Fargo South, but then they lost to Grand Forks Central, the nemesis, the only team that beat them during the regular season, lost to them 5-4 during the regular season, lost to Central 3-2 in the semifinals, so they had to come back and play in a state qualifying match. Won that one, I believe 4-1 was the final there as they won that one, so they move on as a team to the state tournament as a #3 team out of the East. But Breck Suffolcool and Abby Martinick, state or section champs, EDC champs, as they went undefeated in the 4-0, and they had a great tournament at the EDC tournament. They won in their championship match against Spicer and Lowman from Grand Forks Red River 4-6, then 7-6 and 6-3. And again, they were the EDC champions. Kaylee Nielsen along with Georgia Zahn, the consolation champs, and they had to come back, and in that consolation championship, they defeated the duo out of West Fargo Cheyenne 6-1, 6-4, so they were able to win that and move on. And Abby Martinick, Breck Suffolcool, and Kaylee Nielsen also got all conference after the tournament here this past weekend. They were named to the EDC all-conference team. So good luck to them. They will be starting state tennis here this weekend up in Grand Forks. Also, the softball team, their season wrapped up here this past weekend as they were at the EDC tournament. They opened up against Grand Forks Red River, lost to the Riders in the opening game by a final of 10-0, and then had to come back on Friday and play in the consolation round against Grand Forks Central. A win in that game, and they would at least get a chance to play on Saturday for a chance at a state tournament berth, but they lost to Grand Forks Central by a final of 12-3. So their season ends, but a very good season for first-year head coach Autumn Perry. They went 5-9 overall. They were 10-10 in the EDC and finished 6th in the conference. And then after that conference tournament, they had the conference awards handed out, and sophomore Bailey LaRue was named to the all-conference team in softball. It's the first time that a sophomore has been named all-conference since Haley Schaefer was named all-conference back in 2019. So the Highlander softball team, their season wrapped up again 5-9 overall in Coach Perry's first season. Golf, well, they were at the EDC meet at Oxbow Country Club today. We're going to talk about that with Coach Trevor Hansen when we return in our final segment of Coach's Corner coming up here on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here at Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and now moving to golf. The Highlander golf team, they were at the Oxbow Country Club in Oxbow, North Dakota today in the EDC Eastern Regional Tournament. Coach Trevor Hansen joining us. Hot native out there today, Coach?
Yeah, we were sweating. Sweating bad.
But I bet it was it good conditions though?
Yeah, yep, very good golf conditions. Low wind, was a little warm for guys carrying their bags, but we kept them hydrated and kept waters every other hole. So.
Well, I was following a little bit during this morning, during the match, and then a little later on in the afternoon. And it looked like Andrew Tangen really got off to a good start. I think he was 5 over after 9 holes. Was really playing well, and then he even had an eagle on 15, I believe it was, a par 4 15, got a 2, and that got him back to 8 over, so he was right there late in the tournament.
Yeah, he drove the green, not on purpose, but he pulled his drive. He was hitting driver, he was trying to hit it close to the green because it's a dogleg left, shorter par 4, but he actually landed on the green and ball ended up about 8 feet from the hole, and he made an 8-footer for eagle. So he doubled they played it a little bit funny because they got a bridge out. So you started on 10, you played through 14, then you played 2 through 9, and then you played 1, and then you played 15 through 18. So it was kind of a crazy hole sequence, but if you just call it his whatever hole, the hole prior to that, he 4-putted for a double bogey. Yeah. So that kind of hurt, that got him to 10 over. Then he eagled and went back to 8 over. Then he was pumped, and it was like, okay, if you can par out, 8 over might make it. You know, if somebody shoots 73, which, to tell you the truth, they're not even done yet.
No, they're not.
A lightning delay for about 2 hours. They're going to try to start at 6:20. I still don't know if they started. We took off because we went 8 and actually went back, and we were going to catch the awards and hang out for a little bit, and it was downpouring. They got about a half-inch of rain and lightning, so they suspended it. So we sat there for about a half hour just to kind of see what would happen, and I looked at the radar, and it looked no good for a long time. So I said, guys, we're just going to go. There's only, some kids have 3 holes left, some 2, some 1. But there's a huge play in there for that state tournament berth. 6, 7, and 8 right now are really, really tight. Actually 5, 6, 7, and 8 are really tight. So it'll be interesting to see how that finishes. And then on the next hole, he was a little amped up, hit his drive a little bit further right than he wanted to, ended up in the water, and ended up making a double on the next hole. He had a pretty amazing shot on 18. He was behind the green, behind the bunkers, had to hit it over the bunkers, and the green was way below him, and it was all downhill, and he was hitting it back towards the water, and he ended up hitting like a little flop shot, landed between the bunkers and ran down a peninsula, a little probably 2-foot wide piece, and ran down onto the green, and he just about made par. So he played fine. He's upset, and he's not happy with his performance, but an 84 was pretty decent there. That's a pretty good score. He just had a couple of holes where he didn't putt the greatest, his putting a little bit. And then Ethan Bear shot 95, Espen Kunze 95, and that's a good score for Espen. Yeah. Espen's previous best was 91, and the Oxbow course that he played is a lot tougher than probably the course he shot 91 on. When we played the practice round, Espen didn't even finish the practice round because he got sick in the middle of the practice round, like fever, chills. He actually was sick all the way until like Monday. Like he literally didn't do anything. He laid in bed for 4 days or whatever, 5 days, and didn't do anything. So thankfully he was able to go. He played really well the first 11 or 12 holes, and he had a couple of hiccups down the road, but still played really well for what he has played. And Ethan Bear shot 95. He played another decent round. He shot 93 there in the practice round, so he's probably a little upset he shot 95. But he had a little trouble on one hole, and then he played pretty well in that one hole. Alex Rogels at 100. Sam Meyer played really well. 101 might be his best score.
It is, yeah.
In a varsity meet. JV,
right.
I think he shot a 99, but that's his best score in a varsity meet. And then Isaiah had a tough day. He just got a brand new set of clubs for graduation on Sunday, literally like 3 days ago, and he played with them a few times, but I don't know if it was obviously the clubs, but he just didn't have a great day. I went out to the range. He was the second person to tee off. I went out to the range, and he probably made the mistake, but he looked at me and he said, "I'm hitting the ball the best I've ever hit the ball at the range." and Derek can tell you.
Right.
When you're striping them on the range,
Yeah.
usually it's not a good.
It's not a good
It's
sign.
not a good sign. You get out on the course and all of a sudden everything's wrong. And you're like, what the heck? I was hitting all these great. If the range session goes terrible, then usually it gets better on the course.
Because you corrected it on the course. And
Derek had the same thing. Every time he hit a good range, he's like, oh man, today's going to be a long day. And then the range session he'd have where he'd hit everything terrible, he'd be like, all right, today's on. Today's a good day. So.
it's like a pitcher, he has a bad bullpen, he's like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to throw a strike to save my life. Then he can go out and strikes out 15 batters and throws a 2-hitter.
Yeah.
It's a mindset type of a thing, and I think golf is a very mental game.
Oh, terribly mental, yeah. You have to stay in it, and every shot, your next shot has to be your best shot every time. You know, you can't think about, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. You have to go back and do that. So it is very mental. A lot about even sometimes it's too mental where you got to get out of your head,
Right.
and you got to just be like, okay, I'm just gonna swing.
Yeah.
My swing is pretty good. I'm just gonna swing, and if it goes, it goes, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Instead of got to do this, keep my left arm straight, and all this other stuff, then you do that, and usually it ends up being a little bit not so great. So.
And you look overall, 374 for the team, which equaled your second best team score of the season. Outside, as far as EDC is concerned, I know you had a 368, I think it was in Perham. But you look at this squad, and a lot of seniors came out, and you had some young guys too. But a good mix. But it just seemed if you could go a couple more weeks, you might. Because it looked like Ethan Bear was really starting to get his game here in the latter half of the season. If he had a couple more tournaments, he probably would be right there in the mix.
Yeah, and he was playing a lot better. The more golf he plays, the better he gets. Definitely. And we had 4 seniors today, so 4 guys are done. Some of those guys have played for me. Well, all of them have played for me for a long time. Espen and Isaiah came out last year as their first season. I think was last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago. But their first season last year, they both played at EDC, kind of on emergency notes because one kid was gone, another kid was gone, and all of a sudden I had to depend on 2 guys, and Isaiah and Espen were those 2 guys, and I brought them with today, and they played fine, and I appreciate those guys playing, so they did well.
And you look at Andrew, and of course, because the tournament's not done, not everybody's scores are done, so not all the averages are in as far as EDC, but he's going to be maybe just a couple of strokes away from the top 20 in the conference, and about 4 strokes out of the top 10, which is what you get for all conference. So not a bad year for a first-year varsity player as a junior.
Yeah, he's played very consistent. He had one tournament, I think he had a 92.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else is, and unfortunately that one had to be an EDC meet. The next day he shoots 80 at the same course, which is the non-EDC meet, and shoot, although they throw out your top 2 or your highest 2 scores, so that 92's out. But yeah, every score was 82 to 87 or something. He was right in there every time. 84 today was good. That's a tough course. It really is. The greens are so fast. Downhill putts are just wicked fast. Like you tap the ball and it rolls 25 feet. And, anytime you're above the hole. So yeah, he played really well. And next year, he's going to play a ton of golf. I know he's going to play a ton of golf this summer. And next year he'll kill it. So next year he'll be great.
And Sam Meyer will be a junior coming back. Like I said, had his best round on varsity today. So again, there's another one. And the more you play, the better you get. And Sam's got that potential.
Yep. And Owen Struble, he didn't quite make EDC, but him too. Sam Meyer has really improved. He started the year in the mid-120s, all the way down to a 101 at a very tough golf course. So if he can get his score down to a 90, when you shoot 100, 10 strokes is a pretty easy improvement. So down to a mid-90s or low 90s. That'd be fantastic. Andrew can hopefully shoot high 70s next year, improve by 4 or 5 strokes. And then throw in Owen Struble maybe in the mid-90s as well. And then you got to find some more guys.
Some of those younger guys.
Yeah, they're going to have to play golf this summer. So that's what I tell them a lot.
Well, Trevor, again, I appreciate it having the chat with you. Again, we'll get back into the wrestling stuff next winter and golf and trap. Didn't even had a chance to tell you how trap season has been going.
Our regular season is done.
Yep.
We had 2 guys in the conference place really high in trap. Ethan Bear, one of my golfers, also shoots trap. He placed 2nd in the conference in trap, 23.1 I think was his average. And then Mitchell Broadwell placed 3rd in the conference at 23.0. So they did really well. State tournament is June 16th and 17th. 16th is skeet and 5-stand, and the 17th will be state trap.
We'll have to get an update on that and find out how those how we do when we get to the state tournament. And is that in Bismarck or
No,
will that be
that's
in
at
Horace?
Horace, yeah.
It is in Horace.
Yep.
They have a really nice facility over
Yep,
there.
they have a lot of places or a lot of houses to shoot. Yep, they're very good.
Well, Coach, again, thanks very much for everything this year, and look forward to chatting again next year.
Yep, thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
You bet. Coach Trevor Hansen joining us from Highlander Trap and Golf Team. We'll be back and wrap things up for this final edition of Coach's Corner on this Wednesday night here on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner, again, our final Coach's Corner of the 2022-23 school year. And a lot of people to thank on another just outstanding school year, athletically, academically, for Valley City High School. And so many people to thank that are part of the Highlander Activity Network. And of course, you start with Superintendent Josh Johnson, Brian Krewall, Athletic Director Robert, I don't think he likes that, Rob Hunt, our Athletic Director, Activities Director, kind of the upper echelon of Coach's Corner and the Highlander Activity Network. Derek Bear, our Technical Director, who works with all the technicians, Jaden Johnson, Miles Taylor and Tegan Zahn that helped out throughout the year. And I know we had Carly Govan broadcasting for us, and Jared, Brooke Egermont did a game for us this year. So a lot of people help out in making the Highlander Activity Network a successful venture here in Valley City. Again, if you want to see anything we've done all year long, graduation here a couple weeks ago, it is archived. Just go to YouTube, and all you have to do is search Highlander Activities or Highlander Activity Network and watch all of the great events, sporting events, activities, plays, concerts, whatever took place here in Valley City. You can watch them again and again and again on YouTube. And again, as usual, thanks to our sponsors, Essentia Health and the Valley City Booster Club, and all of you that watch us each and every week and watch all of our events. We do appreciate you. Keep on watching, and we'll have a lot more. We'll be back in August with more Coach's Corner and more great activities here for Valley City on the Highlander Activity Network.